There are two ways to create a new job while using JobExact. Go over to the left-hand side menu, click View Jobs, over to the right-hand side and click Create Job. It'll ask you for the customer name, and if they aren't in the system, it's going to ask you if you'd like to create a new customer. Once you've created a new customer, it's going to ask if you'd like to send a welcome email. This is going to provide the customer with access to their customer portal in JobExact. If you'd like to send, click Send Email. Once you've submitted the job form, it's going to ask you if you'd like to create another job, set an appointment for the customer, or view this job. This is going to take you into your job dashboard of the job you just entered. The second way to create a job using JobExact is to create a form that gets linked into your website where a customer can enter their own information. Here the customer can enter all their information, which then gets linked back to JobExact for you. Once the customer has entered all their information, they simply hit Submit Form, and it's going to send a copy of the form back to their email so they know it's been received properly. Back in Job Progress, you can go down to the Lead Capture section, which is a holding bay for all the entries that have been entered through your website. We can search for the one that was just entered. Here you can view the form, which is going to show you all the information the customer entered on your website. You can view a map of the customer's address. As well, you can see a satellite view. If the customer attached any files or photos, you'll be able to see them here. You can also add any notes into the system for your team. If you decide that this job is worthy and you'd like to take it on, you can quickly go to Convert to a Job after you've entered the required information to properly sort it into your system. Since this is a job for eaves troughing, we're going to add it into our siding and aluminum section and give it an appropriate workflow. Now that we've converted this lead into a job, we can send the customer a welcome email or view the job. This will take us back into the job dashboard, and you'll see in the messaging section the message that we entered has now been converted over into this section as well. These are the two ways to create a new job using JobExact. Every job within JobExact is going to have its own dashboard. Simply go over here to View Jobs. This is going to give you a list of all the jobs that you've got on the go. You can see right now we've got 33. Here you can see this customer has got 2 separate jobs at his address. This is what the job dashboard looks like. At the top, you're going to see the customer's name and address, the stage it's at in its workflow. You can turn this toggle switch on to show this job to your completed project mapping section. Here you've got the profile, which is what we're currently on. This is going to give you all the details about the job, including the customer's information, contact information, if there was a separate person to contact on site, any custom fields, whether or not this job was a referral from someone else, how the customer heard about you. This will tell you the date that this job was last modified. Moving back up to the top, across the menu bar, your messaging is going to give you emails pertaining to the job, as well as internal company messaging that you can message other users within the company. The workflow. The workflow is a predefined set of steps that's going to take you through job completion. The schedule, which is going to show you the calendar of events that are related to this job. You can also set new appointments right from this window as well. The files and photos section is going to be where you're going to upload all your files and documents that are going to be stored company-wide and accessible by all the users. The people section are going to show you any job representatives, subcontractors, or employee workers that you've got assigned to this job. If you do work for insurance companies or general contractors, in this section you can record claim numbers, deductibles, as well as which adjusters are assigned to this project. Under the document section, you'll be able to do all your estimates, customer proposals, record measurements of the job, do all your work orders for your crews, material orders for your suppliers, or any other types of miscellaneous orders that you have to create. The financial section is going to give you a rundown of all of your job's finances, so you are able to track your profitability down to a penny. The form section is going to give you a list of on-site job forms that your crews can fill out and track daily movements or any other information you want to collect regarding a job. At the top, we've got 4 buttons. The duplicate job button, if you want to quickly create a second job for the same customer. A warranty registration button, if you had a shingle warranty or another product warranty that we set up in the system for you. A customer portal, which is going to give you a snapshot glance into what the customer is going to see if they log into their customer portal. And then move to job not sold. Should this job not follow through or the customer decide not to book, you can simply move this job into the not sold pile. When we were looking up this job, we saw that this customer had more than one job. We can add these jobs to a project, which is going to let you know that there's other work that needs to be done on the house. You can drag the different jobs in here, rearrange the order so you know which ones have to go first, or if it doesn't matter the order, you can put the jobs side by side to show that it doesn't matter which order they happen. Also, when you're in a job and you see the project selection highlighted showing you that there's multiple projects happening at the same location, you can quickly and easily click on each project to switch back and forth between the jobs. To create an estimate for a customer, we're first going to find their job, going into the View Job section. We can search for it or scroll through the list. We can either click the View Job button or double click on the line. Then, within the job dashboard, we're going to click on the Documents section, which is going to house all your estimates, your worksheets, and your measurements. The worksheet section is just like your scrap paper, where you're going to build the estimate and be able to review your profitability, your markup, and everything like that. First, give your worksheet a name, and then click into it to start editing it. There's 3 distinct ways to create a new estimate within JobExact. The first is to add every single item one by one from your item catalog. This can be slow and time consuming, but it is good for estimates which are not unique to your company or maybe one-off estimates. If you're unhappy with a line item, you can simply check it or click the top box to check all and hit delete. The second way to create an estimate is to click on the Item Catalog button And here we'll give you a list of all the items currently in your item catalog. You can go through this and simply check the ones you would like to apply to add to your estimate. The third way, and the most efficient way to create an estimate for all the standard jobs that you're used to doing all the time, is to use a macro or a pre-built template that you've got stored in the system. Click on the macro button, and here you'll see a list of templates available for the type of work you're doing. We're going to click our shingle template and we're going to apply it. This is going to populate a list of all of the items that we've predetermined we want in our roofing estimate. You're going to see this one item here that's got a warning. This is a system check to let you know that there's a problem with this formula when you create it, just so it doesn't go unnoticed and you end up with a problem. In this case, we aren't going to use ridge venting, so we can just delete it. Otherwise, you can go in here and change your formula. Now that we've got our list of all the items that we want for our estimate, we can go through and we can manually change them one at a time to give us our estimate. Or, once again, for an even faster way, we can create a measurement and go and apply the two together. Go back into the document section and we're going to add a measurement. Here we've got a pre-selected measurement form that we've put in all the measurements we like to collect from a job. Simply go through and enter all the details for the job as you've measured it on site. When you're done entering all your measurements, hit the Submit button. This has now created a measurement of the house that you can save. You're able to add as many measurements as you want into this section. Now we're going to go back into our worksheet where we still have all of our templated items saved, and rather than having to enter all of our quantities one by one, we can simply go select the measurement that we just entered and apply it to our macro, and that's going to automatically populate all of the items for our roofing estimate. Now that we have our estimate completed, we've got a couple other things we can discuss on the estimate page. In the settings, you've got options to show all the different categories so you can customize the view as you like to see it. We also have an option to round up all your quantities, and we can also show the tax columns. Assuming that this customer may have wanted an estimate for something else, we can also add tiers to our estimate. When we add a tier, the very first tier is going to be the items we already have in the system. So we'll call that shingle roofing. You can also add a long description informing the customer exactly what this estimate is for. We can then continue to add more tiers further on. Let's say this customer also wanted an estimate for eaves troughing. Since we don't have a macro built for eaves troughing, we can simply add it through the item catalog. You'll see the menu button is now down on the tier selection menu, indicating you're just dealing with this tier alone. We're going to open our item catalog. If we do a search, it'll search for our subcategory, and we can add all of these items directly. This is going to populate our estimate for eaves troughing, which, since we don't have a macro, we'll do the old-fashioned way. Now that we've finished entering our estimate for eaves troughing, you can see it's given us a total here for this tier, as well as a shingle total up above. You'll also be able to see at the very bottom it's given you your totals for the entire worksheet, including all of your materials, what you're selling them for, your cost and your estimated profit, as well as all your labor, and then the total for everything. You can also collapse your tiers while you're working on this, just to make it easier to view. JobExact also gives you the option of doing sub-tiers within tiers, so you can further break down your estimate. Simply go to the tier menu and add sub-tier. You're also to add measurements and macros within all your tiers as well. JobExact has a unique feature allowing you to compare prices once you've created an estimate. You may have different suppliers for the same item, and if you want to see which is going to give you the best price to complete this job, simply go up to the top and hit the Compare Prices button. Here you're going to see a list of all the different suppliers along with the different prices they offer for the products. All of the items in red are not available from a particular supplier. Here you can pick the lowest supplier, or you can pick the lowest individual supplier for each line item. Because we've imported a template which has a variety of items which may not apply to every job, you can click the Review Zero Value button, and it's going to give you a list of all the items within your template that have no quantity. This is a good way to go and check and make sure nothing was missed on the job or no measurement was missed and that you've actually accurately estimated this project. We'll quickly look at all the columns within the job worksheet. The first is self-explanatory, it's the name of the item. The second is the category, whether it's material, labor, or miscellaneous. The quantity is the item quantity that you're selling to the customer. The fixed sale price is going to be a hard-coded price that you typically sell this item for that's built into the software. The buying cost, which is the price you're typically going to pay from a supplier. The markup, that if you want to sell this product for a cost times markup. Your pricing model, whether you want to sell for the selling price that you've got in the system, or you can change to a cost times markup model, which is going to take your buying cost times your selected markup to give you your final selling price to the customer. The selling price to the customer, including the price times the quantity. The tax you're planning on charging to the customer. The Assign To button, this is where you're planning on purchasing the material from. And you can also add any notes for any particular line item at the same time. Here we have the ability to change our supplier to different suppliers. When we click on this, any suppliers with a red triangle do not have a price in the system for this item, or they don't typically supply it. Before we convert this to a proposal, we can assign all of these different items to a particular supplier or subcontractor if we know who we're going to use, or we can leave them to be assigned later. Once you're happy, go to the top left and convert this item to a proposal. Here you're going to get a warning telling you you've got 0 line items in there. You can either choose to remove those line items or leave them in the proposal as a line item with 0 quantity. Give your proposal a name and hit Submit. You'll see that it's now locked your worksheet because you've got a proposal attached to it, so it won't let you make any changes. Go into your proposal, and now you can view how you want it to look. You'll see because we removed all the 0 line items, we've got a lot less items in our proposal now. We can use the Setting button to adjust how we want our proposal to look. We can show the amounts, we can show the quantities, or we can hide the table completely and just show the totals. We can have tier totals and taxes visible. And with this button, we can allow for a customer to accept multiple tiers when they go to accept their job. If we turn this off, it's good for a good, better, best scenario where you want your customer to only be able to select one of the tiers. Once we're happy with how our proposal looks, we can scroll down at the bottom. We can add any discounts we want for the customer, write any comments in that'll show to the customer regarding this estimate. And we're also able to upload files to attach this estimate. When a file gets uploaded into the proposal, it's also going to attach into the job files in your job dashboard. We can do a print preview, which is going to show you the PDF view of your estimate. And then once we're happy, we can either sign on the spot if you happen to have an iPad or a computer at the customer's home, or you can send to the customer. This is going to allow you to send an email to the customer with their proposal that they can view online. If you have a general customer or an insurance adjuster, this will also give you the option to select who you want to send it to. When a customer receives their proposal via email, they'll have the PDF attached. As well, they'll be able to click on the View Proposal button that's going to open a digital copy of the proposal. From here, they're going to be able to review it, see the image that was attached, they'll be able to digitally sign it, and as we mentioned, we allowed them to select multiple items to determine what they want to pick. You'll see that the subtotal for the quote changes depending on which items they've selected. Once they've signed it, they can either accept it, decline it, or request changes. Now that the customer is digitally signed, now when we go back into Job Exact and look for this job, look in the document section, you can see that this proposal is showing up as an accepted proposal. Also, when we go into our notification settings, you'll be able to see that the customer has viewed the estimate and also that the customer has accepted the estimate. Once you have an accepted proposal from the customer, you're going to want to move it forward in the process and assign work orders and material orders to get the job started. Simply go into the Jobs Set tab, find the job, go into your Documents section. Here you're going to see it's marked as an accepted proposal because the customer has signed off on it. When we go into that proposal, you're going to see a list of all the line items that the customer's agreed to. You're going to see the customer's signature captured at the bottom. Now none of these line items have been assigned yet. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go through and decide who you want to install these items or what supplier you want to order them from. As I was assigning them, the system will only let me order materials from approved material suppliers and will only let me assign labor to my approved labor contractors. Once we've selected all the items, let's say I want to split a line item and order from two different suppliers. Or for example, let's say I've got leftover shingles at my shop I want to use up on this job. Instead of ordering 84, I can go and split the item. I'm going to split it twice, but I can split it up to 84 times. And I'm going to say I've got 10 leftover shingles at my shop, and I'm going to order the other 74 from the supplier. If for some reason my math is wrong, I'm going to get an error telling me that I have a quantity mismatch. It's now changed my supplier order to 74, and it's added a new line item at the bottom asking me for 10 more shingles, and I'm going to assign it to our shop. At the bottom, we had a different tier that was for eavesdropping. Since it's going to be a different crew, I'm going to assign it to them. Now that I've got all my work orders and my material orders assigned, I'm ready to lock this and create my work orders and material orders. Once I've created my orders, you'll see it's going to lock my proposal, telling me that I can't edit it because I've already got orders attached to it. I've created 2 work orders, one for my exterior aluminum supplier to do the eavesdropping, and the other for my roofing crew. I've also got 2 material orders, one for my shingle supplier, and because I had leftover shingles from my shop, I also put in an order of shingles just to pull out of our own stock. When I created these work orders, I sent it to 2 different crews. The first crew, my aluminum crew, is an in-house crew that does not get a subcontract price. So you're going to see that their work order does not have the line item pricing attached to it. However, my roofing crew is a subcontractor, so when we view their work order, you're going to see that they have all their individual line item pricing attached, and they're going to see exactly how much they're going to make at the end of the job based on a subcontractor price. For my supplier orders, this is going to be my order going to my shingle supplier. Once I'm ready to send it, I can add any notes, select a date for delivery, add any photos if I want to show them where they're going to be delivering to or anything else. And once I'm confident it's ready to go, I'm just going to send it to the supplier. Here, the supplier is going to get an email where they can now view the order. Here it's going to give them a list of all their items and exactly what we're expecting to be getting. They'll be able to check their stock and if there's any issues, let us know right away with the request changes button. Otherwise, if everything is good, they can simply push the accept order button and hit OK. Back in JobExact, you'll see once a supplier has accepted the order because it's got the blue accepted badge on it. I can also go in and view this order and click on the status, which is going to show me when it was sent to the supplier, when they viewed it, and what time they accepted it as well, so I can always have a history of what's going on with my jobs. Within JobExact, we've built a very powerful calendar and scheduling tool. To enter your calendar, click on Calendar on the left-hand menu. The calendar is going to show you everything with a date in JobExact. You can filter by the job, which is going to be all your work orders, any to-do items that you have, any appointments. You can also put your personal events in here to try and coordinate your work-personal life balance, and any material orders. Within all your jobs, you're able to filter and look at any job within the system. Under Job Services, you can do a filter by the types of work your company does. So if you only want to see items related to shingle roofing, you could select that and it would limit all your results just by shingle roofing jobs. You can also filter by assignee. So if you only wanted to see a certain subcontractor's schedule, your own schedule, or one of your office workers' schedule, you can simply assign it here. You can also use the bookmark if you want to leave this person at the top because there's someone you want to quickly be able to reference. You can also limit your results. JobExact, you'll see a blue square with 3 little dots. This is to save a quick filter. For example, in your calendar, if you want to see, you can also set up your calendar however you like it by changing the colors and have to redo that filter. Different calendars that you can simply go the bottom 3 bays, appointments to be scheduled, work orders to be scheduled, and deliveries to schedule. Save it. Are all holding bays for jobs that need to be put into a schedule.
You've
but
now
haven't
created
been
a
done
quick
yet.
save filter. Anytime
It's simply a drag and
that
drop
down
where you can drag
and hit
on the
appointments
job
only, it's automatically going to
calendar.
filter the calendar how
When
you
dragging
like it.
into the calendar,
You can save as many
the calendar
quick filters
likes
as you like.
to be dropped in the bottom quarter of it. If you try and drop in the top, it won't work. Once you drag something on, you can simply assign the user, change any specific items you want, and add the event. As soon as you add an event in a calendar, it's going to automatically pop up a window that's going to allow you to send an email notification to anyone involved in it. On the left, you'll see the different people involved in this job, whether it be customers, employee reps, or subcontractors. Should for some reason you have to change a schedule, you can simply drag and drop it to a new date. Once again, because the schedule has changed, it's going to pop up an email notification window asking if you'd like to send all the participants a notification of the date change. If you have to put a schedule on hold but are unsure when it will be rescheduled for, you can simply drag it back off of the calendar onto the side, and it's going to populate back into your appointments to be scheduled area so you never forget about it. The same is true with your work orders and all of your material deliveries. In several locations throughout JobExact, you'll see a blue square with 3 little dots. This is to save a quick filter. For example, in your calendar, if you want to see a calendar that only showed appointments, rather than come in every time and have to redo that filter, you can simply go, create your filter, hit quick save it, and give it a name. You've now created a quick save filter. Anytime you hit that drop down and hit appointments only, it's automatically going to filter the calendar how you like it. You can save as many quick filters as you like. When viewing the item schedule from within a job, it's going to look slightly different than the main calendar. From your job dashboard, click on the Schedule tab. Here is going to show you your calendar of only items pertaining to this particular job. Any job schedules are blue, to-do items are in green, appointments are going to be in yellow, any personal events in orange, or material orders in purple. Directly above it is going to give you a list of all the items that you need to schedule. So for example, here we can see there's 2 work orders that are ready for this job and 2 material orders that have not yet been scheduled. You can either view the order or add a schedule. With the calendar, your duration in days is the number of work days it's going to take you to do this. If we put 7 days and we start it on the 24th, you can see because we've scheduled this job for 7 days and started on a Monday, it's going to give us 7 working days, not counting the weekend. So it schedules it for 9 days total, knowing that we don't work Saturdays and Sundays. It's also going to show that the job is scheduled here now. Because these work order and material orders are showing that they need to be scheduled, they will also be showing up in your pending bay in your main calendar, letting you always know that there's items that need to be dealt with. If you hit the Set a New Appointment button, it's going to open up your main calendar window, allowing you to view all your other appointments and schedule, and having this appointment ready and waiting to be dragged and dropped onto the calendar. Employee time tracking can easily be accomplished using JobExact. The employee simply goes to time tracking, either in the mobile application on their phone or on a desktop computer, goes to clock in or out, selects the job that they want to track their time to, adds any notes, and clicks time in. Once they click time in, it's going to start their timer both in the time tracking module as well as on the sidebar, so it's always active for them to see. At the end of their shift, they're going to do the same process, go into the time tracking module either on their phone or a computer, click the timeout button, and log their time. Once they've done this, you'll see a record appear showing their hours and any other notes they entered. It's up to the administrator to then check the time and approve it. They can do that by clicking in, looking at the map where the person was when they clocked in or out. If they need to make any changes, they can do that now, update it, or approve it. This table can be filtered by the user, the job, or the date, and exported into your regular payroll software. Once payroll has been approved, all of the costs associated to the timesheets are pushed directly into the jobs for easy accountability. You can simply go into the job, look at the financial section, and under your labor costs, you're going to see any approved timesheets. If there are any unapproved timesheets, they're going to show at the top, highlighted in orange. Within every job in JobExact, you're able to customize a series of steps required to take the project from start to finish. It can be found in the job dashboard under the workflow. Here you're going to see a list of large steps called milestones, which are going to take the project from start to finish. Within each milestone, you're going to have a set of smaller steps that can be completed one at a time as a checklist to make sure nothing gets missed. This is also a great way to coordinate with your team, as each of these steps can be assigned to a different team member, either manually or automatically, to limit the amount of communication required and ensure everything is done in a timely manner. These steps can also have due dates assigned to them to make sure that tasks are staying on track. The large items in the highlighted bars are the milestones, and the smaller individual steps below are the tasks. You have the task's name, who the task is assigned to, a due date, the action box, which is where you check off if it's completed, and the current status. You can see the next 4 tasks are assigned to Dusty Moore, the first 2 having due dates. You'll see that as this task was checked off, the next set of due dates occurred. That's because tasks have triggers, which means they won't become active until a preceding step has been selected, preventing your to-do list from getting cluttered with items that aren't due yet. Once all the tasks within a milestone have been completed, the system will ask if you'd like to move to the next milestone. You can type some comments in here, and once you hit submit, it'll automatically close the first milestone and open the second one. Here you'll be able to see a number of tasks that are left to complete the milestone, but you can also switch and do milestones in any order if you required. If you have a milestone that you want to assign to a different user, simply check the box in front of the milestone, go to the top, hit Assign Tasks, and change the user to the one you would like. Should you have someone leave the company or be away from work, you can also mass reassign the tasks. In this case, click the Mass Update button, pick the person that's currently assigned to the tasks, change to the new assigned person that you'd like, and hit Confirm. This will go through all the tasks that are about to be reassigned for your approval. Hit OK, and these tasks will all be reassigned to the new person. You can see at the last milestone, there's a green check mark. This is indicating that when this milestone is completed, the job is considered to be done. You don't have to check every individual job to see which milestones or tasks need to be completed by you. You can simply go to the left-hand side to your to-do list, and all of the milestone tasks that are assigned to you are going to populate on your own personal to-do list, along with their due dates, the job that they're for, and their priority. Here you're able to mark off tasks as you complete them without having to go into each individual job. To set up milestones, you're going to go to the top to the settings wheel, scroll to workflow reference settings, and here you're going to set up all of your milestones to begin with. Although every job can have a different set of milestones and checklist, it's wise to keep your milestones the same across all jobs and in the same order. Next, you'll set up all your checklist tasks that you're going to want within your milestones. The Prerequisites tab is a list of system-coded functions where the system will automatically mark a checklist item as completed when a variable has been met. Right now, the only time this will happen is when a job rep has been assigned. You can also set up checklist question and answers if you want to add a question and answer within a milestone. After you have all your reference settings set, you're going to go back to the settings wheel and go to workflow settings. This is where you'll build all your actual workflows. Click the Add a Workflow button, name it, and hit Confirm. You're going to start by adding the milestones that you'd like in your new workflow. Once you have all your milestones added, you're going to drag them into the order that you want. Then you're going to start by clicking on a milestone and adding all the checklist items you want into it. To add a checklist item, you're going to start by adding either a task, question, prerequisite, or custom form. Then you'll go and pick the actual task you want. Here, you can assign it either to a specific user, which is a user that you have already in your system as one of your employees, or you can assign it to a default assignee, which is either the job creator, the person who creates the job, or the job representative assigned to that project. You're going to be able to set the visibility of the checklist to see if the customer is able to view it from their portal, or if the general customer is able to view it. The trigger section is going to tell the system when you want to turn this task active. It will allow you to either pick a preceding checklist item or milestone that, when completed, will turn on the current task. You can then also assign a number of days before the task is due. Because this is our first task and there is nothing preceding, we are unable to pick a trigger for this task, and as soon as the job becomes active, this task will be created. You'll continue along setting up tasks through all the different milestones until you're comfortable with the workflow that you've created. When you're done, you can just back to the list, or you can click the Save As button to duplicate your milestone with a different name. This is the easiest way to create multiple workflows by creating one template and then copying and altering it for your additional workflows. Workflows are a very powerful part of JobExact. We suggest that you put some time and planning into designing a workflow that's going to work for your company, which doesn't have so many steps that it becomes overwhelming, but still has enough detail to ensure that nothing is missed. You also want to plan your tasks so the different people within your company are notified when they are required to take action on a project. One of the things you're going to love most about JobExact is its ability to view job financials and give you a really accurate picture of exactly how your jobs are doing. Simply go into the job window, go to the financial section, and here you're going to get a list of all the income associated with the jobs, which are going to be all your approved proposals or change orders, any work order cost associated with the job that's been sent out, any material costs, so any purchase orders you've sent to suppliers, any miscellaneous expenses, what we find on jobs lots are there's lots of little trips to the lumberyard or other small expenses that never get accounted to a job. And any labor costs. This comes directly from your timesheets and pushes all of your employees' labor straight to the job. So you can see down to the minute how much time and money has been spent on a job and labor. For the miscellaneous expenses I was talking about, all of your crew will have the mobile phone app, which will have a cost input module, which is also available on the desktop. On their phone, they simply add a cost input, track it to the job that they want to, upload a copy of the receipt. This is going to populate the cost into the administrator page for them to approve it. You'll see it pops up here in the administrator page just for it to be reviewed to make sure everything is accurate. Once the administrator checks and makes sure everything is good, all the taxes are correct and everything else, they can simply approve the cost. You can now see that miscellaneous expense has been tracked directly to the cost and nothing is ever missed. These costs right now are based on the purchase orders that have been sent out, but quite often we found that purchase orders don't match the actual invoices that come in. So going back to your document section, you can click on the purchase order that was sent, and once you get the invoice, you can simply match it up and make sure it's accurate. You can also add an attachment that'll keep track of the actual purchase order invoice so you've always got in your system. Now that you've submitted it, you can go back and check your financial section, and highlighted in red you'll see you were expecting to pay $3,600, but when you actually got the invoice it was over $1,000 less. This can be the result of a problem or changes, but at least you have good visibility into what's going on. You'll also see that the badge has changed to green and is now completed as opposed to accepted. At the end of the day, this is going to give you an exact breakdown of where you're on your job as far as all your different expenses and your overall profitability. The best part about this is it all happens naturally. As you go through a job, you don't have to be adding or subtracting or trying to keep track of things. It's just always there in the background, counting how your jobs are doing. We're going to examine customers within JobExact, which are going to be any people that you're going to sell jobs or items to. On the left-hand menu, click on People, and then click on Customers. This is going to give you a list of all the customers that you currently have within your system. You can view it as a list, or you can click on the map to show a map view of where all your customers are located. To go into a customer entry, simply double-click on the line. This is going to be your customer profile page. On the left-hand side, it's going to give you all your customer information. Here you can hit the edit button to change any of their information. Down it'll give you any separate billing information if there is any. At the very bottom, it's going to give you their account information. This will be their login for their customer portal. You can also send a welcome email from here to send them a new invite to use their customer portal. On the right hand side, you're going to see a list of all the jobs that the customer currently has within the system. To the right of that, you'll find the projects menu that's going to show any multi-job projects that the customer currently has in the system. To the right of that, you can write any notes regarding the customer. And to the right of that, if they have a default insurance provider, you can add it into this section. Suppliers in JobExact are going to be all the vendors you typically buy materials from. To edit your suppliers, go to the left, click on the People menu, and scroll down to Suppliers. This will give you a list of all the suppliers you currently have in your system. To view a supplier or edit, simply click the Edit button. If you'd like to add a new supplier, go up to the Create a Supplier button. This is going to take all the basic details from the supplier. Once you have a supplier entered into your system, you're going to be able to assign items to that supplier. This can be done through the item catalog. When you go into the item catalog, you can pick any line item you want or create a new one. Go to the Edit button, Edit Suppliers, and you'll be able to add one of your suppliers from your supplier list into this item along with their tax code, description, the supplier item code, and the cost for the item. In this video, we're going to talk about your system users in JobExact. On the left-hand side, go to the People menu, click it, and then scroll down to Users. This is going to give you a list of the users you currently have within your system. You can change the password providing you have administrative privileges, or you can click on the Edit User button. This is going to give you the options of editing all that user's information. Here you can enter an hourly wage as well as any specific overtime codes that that user has. At the bottom, you're going to have your role templates. This will be the permissions that the user has within the system to access and do specific activities. When you add or remove users from this screen, it will transfer over to your subscription system and you will automatically be billed for any additional user fees. Subcontractors in JobExact are going to be people that have limited access and are not full users, typically contractors that you're going to assign jobs to. Go to the left-hand menu, select People, and scroll down to Subcontractors. This is going to give you a list of all the subcontractors you currently have active within JobExact. To add a new subcontractor, click the Create Subcontractor button, which is going to open an input window allowing you to enter all that contractor's details. At the bottom of the window, you're going to see a Create Subcontractor account. This is going to give that subcontractor access into their own portal within JobExact. Once you have a subcontractor created, you can double-click to get into their account. On the left-hand side, you'll see all of their profile information, along with their billing information, and their account information for their own portal. Here you can send them a welcome email giving them their username and password, or change their password. To the right hand side, you're going to see a job list of all the jobs that subcontractor is currently assigned to. You can see those jobs in a Google Map view. You can also see a list of all the jobs that subcontractors already completed. You can also see a list of jobs that ended up not being completed by the subcontractor. To the right, you can scroll to the Certificates menu. Here you can upload a contractor's insurance certificate or any other type of documentation you want to track. Simply click Choose File, enter the expiration date. Once you have that entered, and this can also be entered by the contractor through their own portal, you will see here the certificate is marked as unverified. If you can confirm that it's an active certificate and the expiry date is correct, you're able to click the Verify button and confirm that that's a good certificate. The system will give you notice a month before that certificate expires. You can next click the calendar. That's going to show you a list of all the jobs that this subcontractor has scheduled. The file manager is going to allow you to share files back and forth between the subcontractor. The statistics window is going to give you a list of statistics for that particular subcontractor. In JobExact, we built a unique customer hierarchy system that allows you to have multi-levels of customers. We understand you may not always be working for the end homeowner or business owner, and sometimes might be working through a home builder, a restoration company, an insurance company, or some other form of mid-level contractor. In this case, we've created the general customer. Under the people menu, you can scroll down to the general customer. This is going to be the middleman who's hiring you to do the work, but there's still an end customer in play that also needs to be informed. When you click on the general customers list, it's going to bring you to a company page of all the general companies that you work for. This would be the restoration companies, insurance companies, or home builders. Underneath that, you're going to have individual project managers, insurance adjusters, or anything else. Once you have your company set up, you can simply click to go into it. And once inside of it, you can add additional project managers, insurance adjusters, or whoever else you need to communicate with. Simply click the Add Adjuster button, type in their information. Once you've submitted this, it's going to ask you if you want to send a welcome email to that person. This is going to give them access into their customer portal. This is a unique customer portal because it can show them multiple different jobs at the same time. From the main list, you can also resend their welcome email at any time in the future, change their password should they ever forget it, or edit their contact information. You can also change the corporation information from this edit button. To assign general customers to jobs, simply go into your jobs menu, find the job you want to assign them to. Here under the insurance tab, you can add a general customer. From there, it's going to ask you which company you want to add, and then the individual adjuster underneath that company. Once you submit it, that adjuster is automatically going to have access to this file. To go up here and see their customer portal, you can simply scroll down and be able to view exactly what that adjuster would view on the file.